Hey everyone, today we're going to go over the squat and how to perform it, how to program it, and give you some tips along the way that I wish I knew when I first started out. The way I'm going to create this series is to basically make you feel like you're in the studio with me. So nothing too flashy or anything like that. It's just straight and direct, just trying to give you guys tips to maybe help you along the way with things you may not have thought of before. So I'll try to keep these videos kind of short but raw and not edit them or anything like that. But just give you a little sense as to like how I see things and how I coach people and little cues I give people when they come into any issues when trying to improve their squat. So overall, we all know the barbell squat, front squat, overhead squat position are the main squats that we hear about all the time. When you get into weightlifting, you have the snatch, you have the clean and jerk, all that kind of stuff. But today we're going to focus primarily on the basics, just the back squat and the front squat. Some of the big things you first need to know about is the mobility that you need when you are first learning how to squat. So two things really that really stuck out to me when I was younger, because I used to get butt wink, which is really just tightness in your hamstrings, your hip flexors, and your upper back. So and as you practice those movements, the butt wink will go away. I know social media people like to make a big deal out of it, make a clickbait thing, but it's really very simple. Just a few little things that you got to work on for a couple weeks, maybe at most, and then the butt wink is gone. So here's two things you can do. I actually forgot to bring the PVC pipe over here, but I'll grab it in a second. I'll show you first, if I can get it in the shot, how to improve your ankle mobility. So what you do, you can see my feet, you grab a beam here, whether it's in a squat rack or a freestanding rack like this one, you squat down as far as you can, grab the beam here, I'll move my feet a little closer, and you're gonna sit as upright as possible. Like you're gonna hold on to this very tightly at first, but you wanna sit up as tight as possible and push your elbows into your knees and sit as much as you can, almost like you're in a squat. You don't wanna relax or anything like that where you're like completely just chilling down here, but sit down and push your legs out like this. This will teach you how to keep your back flat, work on your ankle mobility. So this trick I did for about a week or two to help me improve that ankle mobility for myself. But that's one little trick you can do to help that. Let me grab the PVC pipe. Now the PVC pipe, what you can do is something called shoulder dislocators. I like that name. Some people call them around the world. You grab a PVC pipe, hold it in a snatch position or a position where you might overhead squat. Bring it straight overhead, all around your butt. So if you can see this, my arms stay locked. You have a good grip on the PVC pipe. Keep the arms locked the whole time and just go back and forth. It took me a while. I actually did this at my job when I was in college, working with a broom just to kind of open up my back because it was so freaking tight, I couldn't do anything. So you just do this and practice it until you're able to do it like this. It took me a while, probably about 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks of practice before I could go all the way around at a decent width. And then the closer and closer you get, the more mobility you have. So you'll see the weightlifters on YouTube, they can hold it like very close and do an overhead squat position with it. The next thing you can do, hold that same position, instead of going all the way around, keep it here, just behind your head. That's the position. And you're gonna grip the bar, the PVC pipe, pull it apart, and then you're just gonna squat. When you practice this motion, it's gonna teach you how to keep your back upright. So it's gonna loosen up your upper back and it'll help out a lot when you're actually practicing the movement instead of just stretching all day. So there's 2 quick tips for you. Now in regards to the squat, once you have the mobility to hit depth and do all those kind of things and you're not worried about like I'm gonna fall down or my ankles or my heels are coming up off the ground, then you can get into the squat. So overall, if it takes you a while to get your ankles more mobile, real quick you can grab 2 2.5 pound plates, put them down right here, step on them, and then squat. Or if you have weightlifting shoes, you can use weightlifting shoes. Now in regards to the squat, the main thing with the programming, because most of the time, most people don't know this, but you don't need to overcomplicate it with the programming. Just keep it simple. You want to just keep it like 8 reps, 10 reps on your volume day, 5 reps, let's say, on your strength day. I think the main issue is, especially in the beginning, everyone's so worried about going heavy that they fry their lower back. They start to get injuries, nagging little aches and pains, things like that. The main thing is focus on form, technique, and make sure each rep looks the same. You want it to be smooth. So when you're first setting up, I have to remember to breathe during these videos. So what you do is get a good hand position just outside shoulder width. Put the PVC pipe on top of your shoulder blades. Brace before you lift off. So especially when you have weight on the bar, you brace like someone's about to punch you. Get a good grip, stand up with it. Take 2 or 3 steps back. A lot of powerlifters will tell you want to limit how often you're stepping, because you don't want to do this where you're just like tap dancing and wasting all this time. You want to get into a good rhythm. So save some time, find it to where you get into a situation where you're only doing like 3, maybe 4 steps at most when you're getting out of the rack. Then once you're set, make sure you're set, good grip on the barbell, you're pulling into your shoulders. Take a deep breath, brace, go down controlled, pop on the way up. You want to be in control when you're going down. You want to use that stretch reflex at the bottom, of course, but you don't want to just drop straight down. Always stay in control. So what I tell my clients a lot of the times is controlled speed and controlled anger. You want to be able to keep your focus. Again, this is iron, it has no feelings. It'll crush you if it wants to, especially if you're going ego lifting or making mistakes. That's how you set up. One real quick thing, when you're going back into the squat rack and you're putting it back, make sure you quickly just take a glance, make sure you're in the hooks before letting go. In another video, I always said use safety bars and safety straps if you can. If you don't have that available, if this is your squat rack, practice bailing if you can, because again, I've mentioned this before, I've seen muscle strains happen even on warm-up sets or with weights that you've hit before. So I've seen people where they go for a run one day and they squat the next. They didn't give their body enough time to recover. They almost tear their quad. So just be mindful, if you have safety bars or straps available, try to use them if you can. Next thing, when it comes to the clips for the barbell squats and front squats, you don't necessarily need them. I don't like to use them because I like to teach people how to control the barbell. Over the years, I've had a few people try to give me a heart attack with telling me a story while they're squatting and tilting it like this. So it's up to you if you want to use the clips or not. Sometimes I feel like the clips help the bar and the weights feel more solid so they don't shift too much on you, especially when you're going for like a 1 rep or a new triple, something like that. But one thing you want to know is when it comes to that programming, just to reiterate it, you want the reps to move smoothly, each rep, each set. You want your first set to look the same as your last set. So that's why when you're doing a volume day, it's somewhere between 60 and 70%. It really depends on the lifter and how they handle weights. Some people are really good at high volume stuff. Some people are really good at 1 rep maxes. So it all depends on the lifter. But really in that higher volume, 60 to 70% seems to work. For 5s, I used to go too heavy on this, same as the bench that I mentioned in the previous video. I used to think 85%, oh, I could do 3x5 at 85%. It's too heavy. So to make everything move smoothly and cooperate and make sure you don't grind the weight out and you're fatiguing your body too much, usually in that 75, maybe 80% range for sets of 5 is what you want to do. Now that is for your heavy day, that set of 5. Obviously, for sets of 5, a lot of people like to go super heavy, but you build on that. So just to reiterate, day 1's volume, day 2's strength. Usually keep it at that 5 rep range for strength, 8 to 10 reps for volume. Do that for about 4 to 6 weeks, And I really tell people just to test your 1 rep max every 6 weeks or so. This is again just a basic program. So power lifters, weightlifters, do not get on me if you've been squatting for over a decade. So all you do next, once you have the weight on the bar, take it out, get set up. If you have the ankle mobility, you don't need the plates anymore or the weightlifting shoes. Get a good grip on the barbell, pull it into your shoulders because you're pulling down on the barbell to keep it in place, and you do not want it rolling onto your neck. So pull down on your shoulders, take a big deep breath, brace. You're controlling your breath on the way down. You're basically holding your breath on the way down, and then exhale. So that's how you breathe. That's how you kind of get the barbell and everything set up for the squat. Now, there's multiple ways that you can do the squat. That is the basic form. You can also do the pause squat as well. So a pause squat will help you to learn how to be explosive out of the hole. And that technique is just this. You're just going down, setting up like a normal squat position. Take a step back, pull the barbell under your shoulders, feet are placed right. I like to, if I didn't cover this already, I like to have my feet about shoulder width apart, toes pointing out to the side slightly. Some people can squat with their toes straight ahead. Me, I don't. I probably even have a pretty narrow stance for most people. And I'm about 6'1". So all you're gonna do, brace, hold your breath, exhale. That's a normal squat. And now here's a pause. You pause for a second, pop out of the hole. All the way down, out of the hole. So doing the pause squat will help you to become more explosive, teach you how to control the weight, and get comfortable down in the hole. So real quick, I'll get a drink of water. So all you want to do next in regards to form, technique, and all that kind of stuff is make sure you're not grinding the weights. That is a mistake I made when I was younger. And it would always, when I come out of the hole, slow down, and I'd have to use my back to get it up on, like, say, the last rep or two for my back squat. And I would just burn out my lower back. So that's why you keep the reps low, because you can really easily get tendonitis in the knee, fatigue your lower back, so then you're shot for your deadlift day or something like that. Or if you're a weightlifter, when you're trying to pull off the floor, you feel that little twinge in your back. So overall, I'm trying to think if I forgot anything, but one quick thing, there's that myth of like, oh, don't use a belt. The belt in the squat and deadlift or anything that you're pulling off the floor or squatting, the belt allows you to brace harder into it. So when you have an object in front of your abs, it allows you just to brace harder. So it protects your back, so you feel a little bit more sturdy. So it's not cheating or anything like that, but I do recommend doing the warm-up sets without a belt. Maybe even in the beginning when you're first learning to squat, learn how to squat without a belt first. But it's not cheating, but do not use it as a crutch. Always use it as a warm-up set. Always use it as a warm-up set. So always use it when you're doing like 1 rep maxes or new weights, but on the warm-up sets, you don't need to use it. So let's say, for example, if I have working sets of 3x5 at 315, I would start with a barbell. This will also give you a little rundown of how I warm up. I start with the air squats first, do 1 set of 8, a set of 8 on the barbell, then I'll put 135 on the bar, do a set of 8, put 225 on the bar, do a set of 5, maybe put 275 or 255 on the bar and do a single. May or may not do another single before I get to my working sets, just depending on the day. And then I'll get up to 315 and then do my 3 or 4 or 5 sets of 5. So, but in that time, I probably wouldn't put the belt on until my final warm-up set. So just to give you a little example. So overall, those are the main keys for me when it comes to this squat. I'll make a video on the front squat as well with the mobility and how to improve that. But because that's really comes down to the wrist, keeping that wrist mobile for that front squat position. But overall, those tips and the programming, like if I did that, it would have helped me out a lot. I'll share a video real quick also today showcasing some of my clients and some of the successes they had in their squat form. But I've seen a lot of people do really well with just 2 days a week. And it's also, for me as a coach, it's just tapping into their potential of whoever I have that day and just seeing where their starting point is. So again, hopefully these tips are helping. I'm trying to keep these videos raw for you. So hopefully it's helped. Have a good one.